All right, everybody, welcome back to the Draft Degenerates podcast. This week, I thought was going to be more fun, but as you can tell if you are reading our little subtext things here, we didn't have the time we were
Not
hoping we
fun.
were going to have. Yeah.
No.
Um, I'm not going to say that this class is necessarily the worst I've ever seen or anything like that, but a lot of just the same type of guys in different body types. And if you could look at mine, pass rusher, I hardly knew her. Well, that's kind of the problem. Is there's not a lot of that going on. And in the NFL, it's kind of important to be able to impact the passer. Not a lot of guys that I'm super confident can do that, especially early. There are some guys we'll talk about, especially at the top, and some for me at least. We'll see about you guys. Some guys near the bottom that are kind of specialists in those roles, maybe a little bit, who might be able to do that at some point. But for the most part, there's a lot of beef, and hey, there's no problem with that. That's great, but if the whole class is kind of made up of that for the most part, gets a little tricky after a while.
Yeah, the best way to put it is this class is full of guys that either can't rush the quarterback or can only rush the quarterback.
There it is. Not a lot of 3-down boys.
Nobody can do both.
Not a lot of especially right now. There's guys who theoretically can, or you think should be able to, but aren't quite doing it at this moment in time, which is part of development. And you have to try to hope that you can get those guys to do that. But it'd be nice to see more of it right now. Yeah, I'll say that
also,
much.
Some of those guys that we're talking about that maybe they hopefully can do that eventually. They're also already 24.
This is kind of the crux of the problem with the draft nowadays as it is that there's a lot of guys who you could say that about, not just in this group, but in just all groups. Is like, man, this guy could do this. And you're like, oh, he's played like 4,000 college snaps and he hasn't really ever shit. All right. Well, but no,
and offensive, I do think like with the way the league's going, I do think that age is becoming less of an issue because it's like, all right, they're just a guy that did their developing in college instead of the NFL because they're getting paid. But when you're looking at line play, it's hard to be that impressed by a defensive lineman who is not using any pass rush moves and just dominating a 19-year-old offensive guard.
Yeah, it's hard to really parse through, being like, wow, do I have to check the age of every player this guy plays against to know what's going on? Because I don't want to have to do that shit every time.
Yeah.
But it's kind of maybe part of it a little bit at this point. Like, you kind of have to hunt for, did this guy play someone who might play in the NFL at any point this year, who also is, not 19? I don't know. But no, we'll get through this group. I do think there's some things that are definitely fun to talk about with this group. We'll get to them. Hoping for better luck with the Edge group, which will be up next. Now, I will say just right off the bat, I was going to tell you guys this pre-show, but we'll talk about it more afterwards. Next week will be a mock draft episode of some kind, mostly because I'm going to be honest with you, I have to cover 2 sites for the next week after this, so I will not have time to watch players. So we will be focusing on some mock draft stuff for next week's show. But then we'll jump back into prospect rankings, get the edge guys taken care of. But before we jump into our top 10s, Dalton, Jake, 2 questions for you. First of all, how was your Super Bowl? How'd you guys like it? We talked about a little bit pre-show, but any thoughts on that before we jump in?
Drake May stinker.
A little bit. It was more of a Patriots offense stinker overall, but he definitely didn't help himself a lot of the time.
That it kind of just went how I thought it was going to.
Yeah.
I took the Seahawks minus 4.5 on our gambling show.
Yeah,
and
we literally
after watching the first drive for both teams, I just felt so safe about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Christian Gonzalez played a hell of a game.
Yeah, he was really just out there.
I feel like that's going to go unsung since they lost, but
yeah,
I watched some tape on him from the Super Bowl and he was tremendous.
Yeah, I mean,
there's 3 touchdowns that he saved.
Yeah, he was something else in that game. I mean, really, the defensive back play in this game in general was just holy, how much better can it get? Yeah, dude's sacking the quarterback twice, forcing fumble/interception. I don't even remember what they ruled that one. All sorts of stuff was going on with the defensive backfield. So definitely, I feel a little bit bad for the Patriots defense overall, like you said, because I think overall they played very, very well. The run defense was iffy, but like when you're
they held them to 4 field goals to start. So
yeah, like they were trying
they
to
gave
keep
the
them in
offense
it.
as much of a chance as they really could have.
Yeah, just Patriots offense just couldn't do really anything except for like a couple nice plays to. I don't even remember who it was at this point.
I know Booty had a couple.
He had a couple. My 6-leg parlay. Speaking of the betting show, for you got watch this tomorrow and every Wednesday at 9:30. My like 6-leg like over unders parlay for like passing yards and rushing, all this stuff. I probably needed like one more catch from both Booty and Diggs, and it would have hit. So that one hurt, but yeah.
Also, who had Sam Darnold as the first USC quarterback to win a Super Bowl card? Also, the first quarterback from the 18 class, right?
Yeah, 2018.
Yeah.
2018 class to win a ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First one to start a game in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Too. Like not even like, oh, they just didn't win one. Like the first one to go and start.
Lamar, Allen, Baker, none of them even there. Josh Rosen, I don't think is playing football anymore.
Probably isn't. Mason Rudolph is doing stuff on the Steelers, and by doing stuff, I mean going to rallies. Is all I'm going to say about that.
Mike White
Jake knows what I'm talking about. Was he 2018?
Yeah. I read an article the other day of ranking like the quarterbacks in the 2018 class. They ranked Mike White 6th. They did not rank Rosen at all.
I mean, Jesus. I think that's fair because Mike White played significantly more than I think Josh Rosen did, which is a lot of,
which is kind of wild.
Yeah, it makes me feel not great about really anything. But no, yeah, let's get into our honorable mentions here first before we go off the rails too far. Just trying to avoid talking about the script. No, Dalton, why don't you kick us off with an honorable mention that you want to talk about?
All right. Do I want to go honorable mention or dishonorable mention?
I mean, however you want to do it. I mean,
I'll go with the honorable, a guy I like that just unfortunately because of injury missed my top 10.
Okay.
David Oke from Arkansas.
Okay, I didn't get to him, so I'm curious to hear about him.
I didn't either.
Okay.
Yeah, so I watched him earlier in the year for another show, and came back to him. Earlier in the year, I had a late 3rd round grade on him. It's dropped significantly. I like the potential a lot. He was at a smaller school before transferring to Arkansas. Just ton of alignment versatility.
Okay.
Freak athlete, for sure. Missed most of this year with a knee injury. Also, and it's really unfortunate too because of how raw he is. Yeah. He kind of needed this year. But he's 6'2", 314, but has the power to kind of still play inside. But also, you could probably put him pretty much anywhere between the tackles. So I think there's a lot of, he's lined up a lot in both the A and B gaps. And he even had like a few snaps over a tackle this year. So I think you can do a lot with him. There's a ton of potential there, but it's just hard to know. I have a 5th round grade on him just because we haven't really seen him do it at a high level too much. And again, just so much development that needs to happen first is kind of the issue. But some of the pre-2025 tape, really fun.
All right. Yeah, he's a guy. As soon as you said Arkansas, I'm like, Dalton has someone from Arkansas's defense in his and then I realized he didn't play much this year, you said, and stuff like that. But like, yeah, that's an interesting type of player because in this class, like having someone with that profile could easily, if he had played all year, could have been in our top 10s too. So like that's an interesting guy to keep an eye on. So
yeah.
Yes. How about you, Jake? Do you have anyone else, or do you have anyone that you want to shout out here as an honorable or I guess dishonorable mention, however you want to do it?
We'll say it's an honorable mention.
Okay.
I'll throw out a guy who I do like a lot of things he does, but I just have too many concerns to have him in my top 10, and that is Skylar Gill-Howard.
Okay, I actually didn't watch him because I know he was banged up this year and he was kind of lower on my list, but I am curious what you think about him because I didn't get to him.
Yeah, same.
Oh, sorry for a second.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Okay. So I really he's a former linebacker before he got Texas Tech. So I really like a lot of the things that kind of translate from that. His get off is very good. It's very explosive. He understands leverage. He really has good gap discipline, which is I think another thing that comes from having experience at linebacker.
Makes sense, yeah.
Since he's seen it at different vantage points. And then he's pretty quick rushing the passer as well. He's got a good motor. He can play across the defensive line because of his size. And I really like his hands as well, which I think, that combination of things makes him really dynamic rushing the passer and kind of unique for, I think, guards to face. But the size also has to do with a lot of my concerns. I just don't know how well he's going to last in the NFL, especially against like bigger guards, bigger centers. The bull rush isn't really going to be there. It was already inconsistent in college, and against bigger and more experienced linemen, I think that would only be more of a problem. He also just hasn't really played a lot against high-end competition in college. A lot of his games came at the lower level, and then he dealt with injuries in the Big 12. So smaller sample size does worry me a bit there. And then obviously the injury concerns. So those were enough to keep him out of my top 10. But I do think he's a really unique player coming from linebacker to the interior D line. So I'm pretty interested to see how he kind of translates at the next level. I don't have huge expectations because I think a lot of his faults make his floor a little bit low. But I don't know. He's a player that I'm excited to watch.
I know he had a really hot start to the year as a pass rusher before he got banged up. So, like, he's someone I want to watch at some point just because I know that he's probably going to be drafted based on traits and the fact that he was really starting well as a pass rusher for Texas Tech. So, yeah, I just didn't get to him yet. So, and I said, Dalton, you didn't get to him either, huh?
No. He was a guy I was going to watch, and then there were some other guys that seemed a little more intriguing.
All right, cool. Mine, I know Dalton has just watched in general because and I know he's probably going to watch him for this, knowing him. Number 12 on my list, so he was one of the lower guys on the list here. Zane Durant, the interior defensive lineman for the Penn State. Where'd you guys have him if you did have him anywhere?
Where did you have him, Jake?
Do you freeze again, Jake? You good?
He was at 11 for me.
He was 11. Okay. Where do you have him, Dalton?
He is 7 for me.
Okay, so
this is a little bit of bias, I'll admit probably some Penn State bias, and from watching him so much, but also he's just the type of D tackle I typically gravitate towards when it comes to high motor guys.
And I do get that. So like I could see an argument for him anywhere from like 12 to 8 for me, because all these guys are in kind of the same tier of player. I have him 12 because I just feel like when I watched him, for someone who is about 6'1-ish, 290-ish pounds, I didn't see him win as a pass rusher one-on-one as often as I need a player that size to win. And I do think he has a role, and specifically what I kind of talked about with him when I was watching him, the athleticism is just, it jumps off the page. Like, it's very clear that he is an elite athlete for the position, especially even considering his size. But because of the fact that I just didn't see him really win consistently with that athleticism, using him as like a rotational defender, as like a stunt guy for a defensive line where you use him as a looper and kind of try to get him free where he can just get after the quarterback in a straight line, that could be super effective for him, even as like early on in his career. And he's a better run defender than I would have expected for his size, which is huge for him because I think it gives him an opportunity to actually like play legitimately on the interior, and he doesn't have to be an elite pass rusher just to get on the field at his size. But I do just wonder, like, is he ever going to be a guy who starts games in the NFL? And I see everyone above him, even in a limited role, like even just as like a first and second down nose tackle, I see everyone else kind of above him more likely to play a lot in the NFL compared to him. So that's ultimately what happens with him. But I do get why you'd have him at 7, and you can definitely talk about him here then as well.
Yeah. I think the athleticism is a big part of it, but
Yeah.
also one of the things that he does, because like if he gets like against the run, if he gets doubled, that's it. Like,
I mean that's just what it
Yeah.
is for someone
Yeah.
because like that's not
Yeah.
really, you can't even really consider that a knock. With it's just not what he would be doing. Like realistically, like you should.
And even bigger guards, if they
Yeah.
are able to beat him to the punch,
hmm
he really isn't going to be able to do much just because
Yeah.
of the length. But he does have exceptional hand fighting skills.
Yeah.
He really does know how to get himself in on those bigger guards, which does help him a lot, especially help him maintain the point of attack against the run, and help him scrape down the offensive line to wreak havoc. I think the only knock from a technique standpoint is he does tend to over pursue a little bit, and that's just those guys that win on their tenacity. That's something you're just gonna have to live with. I mean, as Jake and I know from watching Max Crosby for years, like one of the things
sometimes he does stuff that's like, oh
he for like the effort's great and the motor's great, but also sometimes it's like, dude, you just completely ignored your assignment.
Yeah.
And
don't have to make every play.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, like I think the effort is just gonna make him do something on an NFL team. I don't know what it is. I just think he's going to will his way onto the field. And I think the fact that we saw him play against good Big Ten offensive linemen for several years, and the production's just really consistently been there, and he's just consistently been a problem for teams to deal with. Like you can tell, like teams really have to account for him. I think it'll at least translate to something. He's not going to be the game wrecker he was a lot of times in college, but I think it'll translate somewhere.
Yeah. And Jake, I'm sure you have some thoughts here, but like you were saying, Don, like I think he has a role. It just might be a little bit limited, especially. Like I think if you put him on the field as like a looper, honestly, that alone, like with his athleticism.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I'll be like as someone who's lower on this player and he has played better than expected. Braden Fisk was like the ultimate stuntman for the Rams his first year, and like he turned into a ton of production. Now he's a better player than him and bigger player, but like the same idea of like, yeah, if you're a good enough athlete and you have the tenacity, like we'll find ways to free you up and you can go hunt the quarterback, and that might be his best role.
But now, I don't think teams should trade up into the second round.
No,
to get Zane Durant.
No, but I could see a similar role working for him just on a more limited basis.
It's almost as if that's what you're doing with defensive tackle, you should never give up that many assets.
Probably not. Probably not. Especially for a guy who cannot play the run at all. At least Zane might.
Braden Fisk looked a lot like Aaron Donald in a silhouette.
It's true, in a silhouette. But yeah, Jake, any thoughts on Durant here?
Yeah, I think you guys explained him pretty well. He's a guy I definitely can understand the hype around and why Dalton would have him higher. I love explosive interior defensive linemen, and he gets off the ball really quick. He's very quick and athletic, which helps him a bit with being undersized. But for me, it's just I just worry about him against offensive linemen that have good length. Like, because he's just undersized and his arms aren't especially long. I don't think he'll be able to extend very easily at the next level against this bigger lineman. As Dalton said, when he gets double teamed, it's just kind of over from there. So I think he does a lot of things well, and he is a guy that the high motor and the effort's always there. But I'm not sure he'll ever be more than like a part-time contributor or like a role player at the next level, which is fine. That's totally fine. And he definitely could have a good use for an NFL team, but I just had a little too many doubts to put him in my top 10.
All right. There's one other player I want to talk about for sure, guys, that you guys have that you think might make it into one of our top 10s. You want to shout them out before we get going?
I have a dishonorable mention.
Okay, go ahead. This would even be funnier if one of us has them.
Well, I mean, he I had to. There's one reason why he's not. And
Okay.
so Xavier Harris from Ole Miss.
I didn't get. He was literally the last guy I was going to watch, and I didn't get to him today because busy. So I'm curious what you have to say because I might feel the same when I get to him. But go ahead.
Yeah. He is 12. Did you watch him, Jake?
No, I didn't get to watch him either.
Okay. He is 12 for me. I mean, he's 6'8", 330.
Oh shit! I did not know he was that big. That's hilarious.
He is gigantic, and he is hard to move. Powerful, move pretty well laterally too. I mean, he's not going to be a guy that's super going to get you a ton of sacks, but he's definitely going to push the pocket as a pass rusher. Just because at that size and length, long arm bull rush is just gonna be a problem for quarterbacks to step up. One of the big knocks on him going into this year was limited snap counts. An ability to play more than 30% of snaps in a game. His snap count has skyrocketed this year. It's gone way up. Now, part of last year is he did lose reps to Walter Nolan, but he's also just kind of worked his way in and into the lineup more, and also he's kind of earned a full-time role in the fact that he has proven he can stay on the field for that. Now, pad level's obviously a concern. Technique's still pretty raw, not a wide variety of moves. I mean, pad level obviously at 6'8", there's nothing he can do about that.
That's a problem just because. I mean, probably should be a late day 2 guy, but I have a 5th round grade on him, and the reason why, 2 arrests in college. DUI in 2023, and then domestic violence arrest in 2024. Not great. Not great for a fringe day 2 guy who's kind of raw and tries to develop a little bit. Yeah, I mean,
it's not great.
Yeah, I don't think I'm really saying anything groundbreaking here when I say that it's never good to commit domestic violence, but it's especially bad if you're 6'8", 330 pounds to commit domestic violence.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be allowed to hit anyone when you're not on the football field. Literally nobody. I just think that's a rule. You shouldn't be allowed to do anything to anybody when you're that big, when you're not on a football field.
That's also it. It's just scumbag behavior.
Yeah.
For anybody, but also when you're that big and you know that you can literally breathe
on someone and accidentally kill them.
Accidentally.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. So that makes a lot of sense because I'm dishonorable mention. Where is it coming from? This guy sounds interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. So
also, and like I said, would probably be much higher on my board if not for those things. I mean,
understandable. So
yeah, that's probably why you're not seeing him high on other people's boards because shit. I mean, the physical tools are wonderful. I mean, from a pure football standpoint, great, but
Also, ZX to start your name can't draft you.
The name spelling is just terrible.
Can't do it. Hey,
right
no
now,
offense to
so far in this class of guys I've watched, bottom 5 name.
Right, no offense, do whatever you want if you're the parents of Xavier Harris, but
Xavier,
but it's not even XZ, it's ZX. It's why is it there?
He would have made sense. I accidentally did that actually when I was typing his name.
Yeah, because it makes more sense. Yeah, because then I would be like, okay, I could dig that a little bit. The ZX of it all.
No,
you're just making him write more letters when he's writing his name.
Yeah.
That's all you're really accomplishing by doing this. And someone whose name's Shane with a Y, I don't like that. I already have to deal with that. That Y doesn't do anything. No offense to my
No, Y doesn't do anything.
It accomplishes nothing. All it does is make people assume it's different because there's a Y in it. It must be not just Shane. I'm like, oh, it is though, actually, guys. But anyway,
there was a Dalton. And there was another. That just reminds me. There was another Dalton in my high school. Who spelled his name Daltyne.
Daltine?
More or less.
Literally.
I mean, that's what I would call him for sure. So,
Yeah.
I mean, then again, I was an asshole. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, no, that's tough. It's tough. And then we just got Jake here, so
This is what this class does to us.
this is true. Like now we're just talking about names. No, Jake, I'm gonna let you go too in a second, but there's one other name I want to throw out there because he's semi-popular from what I can tell. I think it's just, but he's kind of like to me the most potentially limited of this archetype in this class that I watched. So he ends up at 11. Tim Keenan, the nose tackle out of Alabama, was number 11.
Okay.
Where'd you guys?
I had him at 8.
Okay, you have him at 8. Okay. Do you have him anywhere, dog?
I did not quite get to him.
Okay, you didn't get to him. So he's number 11 for me. Jake, he's number 8 for you. So I'm glad I mentioned him then before we got started. Yeah, I just think he is what he is, man. He is a tree stump in the middle of the defense. Like, just you toss him in there, be like, hey, don't let anybody get past you really, or just don't let anybody move you. And he's like, I can do that. And he does that pretty well. But he's sawed-off shotgun build. He's like 6'1" and change and 320 something pounds, if I'm not mistaken. And he looks it and plays like that. That's just, I mean, there's the evaluation doesn't really get a whole lot more simple for this class than this guy, honestly. And I respect it. I like this type of archetype. You need it. But, and Dalton just quit because of it. No, I was kidding. He's like, I heard that his name, I'm leaving. But again, he's just very limited, right? He's a very limited athlete, as you would expect for someone with that build. And there's a couple other guys that are kind of in that same mold as far as the size profile, but are a little bit better athletes or have shown more as a pass rusher. He is just very much what he is a 2-down, 2-gapping run stuffer. And again, you need that guy though, but he's 11 for me for that reason.
Yeah, it sounds like he might be, if I watch him, given who I have at 10, I think he might jump him to be at 10.
Well, we'll talk about it. Maybe. Yeah, we'll see. But Jake, you had him at 8 though. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, the limitations are for sure there. He has quite the build. He doesn't bring much explosiveness. A little concerns about his length, but I think for me, the reason I'm a little higher is I'm a little bit more optimistic about just his overall movement skills.
Okay.
Because I wasn't really expecting that much for obvious reasons before I watched him, but I thought, especially moving laterally, I thought he was a lot quicker than I expected him to be. Not that he's super quick or explosive or anything, but I just thought it limited the concerns about just his body size for me.
Yeah.
Obviously, as you called him a tree stump, I think that's a great way to describe him. He's just going to plug up the middle. I think his hand fighting is good too. He times stuff well. His bend is pretty solid for his build, but it's not anything crazy. I mean, there definitely are concerns like his discipline with his weight is going to be important in the NFL. And the limitations are there, but the biggest thing for me was just his movement. I was a little bit impressed by it for his size. And I think that gives him a little bit of a higher ceiling at the NFL if he can figure some things out. So, yeah. I mean, he's still at 8 for me, so I'm not super high on him, but I liked him more than I thought I would.
Yeah, again, he's in the same tiers, like guys 12 through like 8 for me. I think the thing for me that worries me is I just don't know if there's a path to him being a guy who can be on the field on third downs at all because the length is just not good enough to be a bull rusher, I think. And he hasn't shown that really at all at the college level. So if I saw some of that with him, or if there was a little bit better arm length for me to suggest that he could do it, I'd probably have him over some of the guys that are slightly above him. But it just, I don't know. With 31-inch arms certified at the Senior Bowl and that build, I just don't know if you're ever going to be able to really rush the passer very much, frankly. So, and it is what it is. But he is good at what he does. I will give you that. So, but is there anyone else you wanted to mention, Jake, before we officially get started with our top 10s?
No, I'm good, I think.
Okay, cool. So let's get into our top 10s. And we'll just stay with you, Jake. Who do you have at number 10?
My number 10 is Grayson Halton.
He is also my number 10, actually. So that's funny.
He is 8 for me.
Okay, so hey, we're all in the same kind of category here with
yeah.
But Jake, you obviously kicked us off. You start here with him.
Yeah, he's another guy who I was really impressed by his get off. He's very good at getting off the snap really quick and just immediately putting some pressure up the middle. Like he catches linemen off guard a lot, which I liked. He moves pretty well side to side for his frame. And there were a couple of plays I watched where he was actually going sideline to sideline, trying to chase down receivers and backs. So the motor's there, the effort's there. He doesn't give up on any plays. He uses his hands pretty well. Pretty solid gap integrity, I thought. And he did have a couple splash plays on tape, which is not anything huge, but I always like to see those from D linemen. The size is limited, so that that'll have some problems against larger interior linemen. The anchor it's good at times, but it's just not consistent enough, so that worries me at the next level too. And then I think he needs just more of like a pass rushing bag, if that makes sense, because he's really good at getting off the ball and just forcing stuff up the middle. But aside from that, I'd like to see him develop a little bit more. So those were some of the reasons I had him down at 10, but I do see him carving out a role for himself.
Fair enough. I'll start here then too, since I have him at 10 too, and Dalton, you can kind of talk to us about why you have him a little bit higher. Although I don't think we'll have too much of a different opinion based on the fact they're right in the same range. But yeah, I mean, this dude can just actually rush the passer a little bit, and he is undersized, but I think he plays pretty well against the run for his size overall. Like, it's nothing spectacular, but it's not, he's not going to be a guy that completely is useless, I think, on first and second down, especially if he can maybe add a little bit more weight to his frame, which I don't know if he can necessarily, but if he can get closer to 300, that might help him a little bit stick around. But the get off, the ability to actually affect the quarterback a little bit, which again is just not very common in this class, especially like at least the second. Maybe those guys that we have above him will do it at some point, but he's honestly about as good as you're going to get in this class overall in terms of doing it right now. And frankly, even without the pass rush bag, like, he had a decent win rate according to PFF, which is something that I'm starting to see more and more kind of line up with what I'm seeing with him. Especially, I didn't see it at first with the first game I watched him, but then I did see a little bit more later on. I think if he does add a little bit more nuance to his pass rushing ability, we'll start to get him into that like true, like, this is one of your best pass rushers on your team from the interior territory versus like a rotational player, which is where he's at right now. I do just wonder though, like, is he going to be able to do that as someone who is just a little bit limited size wise too? So, but what do you think, Dalton?
Yeah, you guys kind of said it. I mean, the good enough against the run right now, but like pass rush is kind of what you're looking for with him. And I think you guys mentioned like he just doesn't have a lot of moves right now.
Yeah,
that are winning. He's just not winning on his first move very consistently, but he's still winning because of effort. Like, he is just willing himself back there, which, you can't coach effort. You can coach technique and moves. I think that's kind of really promising to see, is that right now he is finding ways to win. And there's still a lot of ways for him to get better. I think there's a lot of potential. I had him 4th round grade, just like Durant. I think Durant's right now a little further along. Like, Durant's, I think, already in the role that you would kind of hope. I think Durant's floor is kind of the role that you hope that Halton can do. Now, I think Halton might be a little more solid against the run than Durant, just because he's a little bit bigger, a little more length. But I think that's kind of what you're looking for there. But yeah, I mean, the pass rushing is good. My 7 through 9 are all the same grade. It's just, I think he plays a little harder than my 9 guy.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's if he can add a little bit more to his pass rush game, then he could actually be, like I said, maybe not like a full-time starter, but someone who plays 30-ish snaps a game and is kind of one of your premium pass rushers for your team, potentially, especially in the interior at least. So there, we'll see if he can develop further from here. And then Dalton, who do you have at 10 then, since Jake and I were aligned on?
So at 10, I have the Godfather himself, Don Corleone.
Oh yeah,
I have
he's my.
Did you say
Oh
9?
wow, look at that.
Hey, we're at the bottom of our
Yeah.
list. We are aligned. So 9, 9, and 10. All right, sick.
All right.
So let me just but good. Dalton.
So yeah, I mean he's another guy. There's really only one reason why he kind of fell. I'll get into it a little bit, like why he's not a little bit higher up into like the 7, 8, 9 range. I have a 5th round grade on him. He maintains his rush lanes really well. Good lateral quickness, really technical. And a guy with that sawed off build that you kind of mentioned before, Shane. 6'1", 335. I mean, he's just this is just a guy. He is just a giant lump that you put at 1 or 0 tech. But the nice thing is he can move a lot, and he can move really well, and that potential to jump around in between the guard and center area, I think that can cause some fits for defenses potentially. He really uses his low center of gravity well and converts it to a ton of power. There's a lot of fun things there about his game that you really like. He is a true nose tackle, and he's smart, quick hands, knows what he's doing there. I think at worst you're getting a really good nose tackle. The issues are the length does limit what he can do. Also, production has just kind of steadily declined since his freshman year. Now, part of that is game planning, I think, has focused more on him.
He's been banged up a little bit too. So
and there's also some health issues like the injury stuff, but even more of a concern is like the blood clot stuff.
Last year, was 2024.
And apparently his weight's been an issue. Like apparently I saw something that said he ballooned up to like 375 one off season or something like that.
Yeah, I did hear a little bit of that too.
I mean, again, we don't know for sure what's going on there, and part of that might have just been like complications with some of the other stuff, and maybe if the medicals check out. I mean, he's a guy, I think if the medicals check out late day 2, early day 3, like 4th round. If not, you're looking at more in the middle of day 3, I think. If the medicals if there's some medical concerns.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Like his medicals is going to be important because specifically the blood clot situation, right? Like, if that is something that they think is a long-term issue or something that they're going to have to worry about with him, with his weight, especially, and things like that, like there's just no real way to quantify that until we hear about that. So, you kind of take that as you will. But realistically, if he's healthy, and again, I have him at 9, I do think because he's limited a little bit athletically because he's 6'1", 335. Like he moves well for that size for sure, but like he's just not going to move the same as a lot of other guys. He offers a little bit of pass rush. I really think he does, and that's the difference to me between him and Tim Keenan. That's why Keenan is 11 and Corleone is 9. Is I think they're very similar, but Corleone just moves better overall and is more pass rush upside. Like that's what I think. I know, Jake, you think you are not have them flip like 8 and 9. I have 9 and 11 for that. So like it is what it is with that. But I do kind of agree with Dalton where like he's just a fun player that if he's healthy, I think he could be like an impactful, 2-down player, especially, and maybe even a little bit give you on 3rd down. So
yeah, he definitely is a fun player, and I actually think he has one of the higher ceilings, despite me having him so low on my list. I mean, for his size, his athleticism it's kind of crazy. He's another guy that's just a tree stump in the middle. Like double teams are not going to move him off his spot. His athleticism for his size is good. He uses his hands well. His contact balance is good. It's just for me the red flags are so big. Like
I get that,
stuff about his conditioning, the blood clots obviously, and then he also has a knee injury and another. I forgot what injury it was, but it was like lower body than he dealt with last year.
Was his a foot thing?
I think so.
It might have been. I know it was like some lower body thing, but I forgot exactly.
Sounds right, but yeah.
Yeah, it's just that, and then when you watch his tape, there's like he'll dominate for 5 snaps, and then he'll just kind of be invisible for a little while. So it's just a little too like flashy at times for me. So I think like that's part of the reason I had him below Keenan, and then also I would like to see him develop more of like a pass rushing arsenal. I think it's just kind of too narrow minded on him just getting off the ball quick. So the red flags are just a little too big for me, which is why I have him down at 9. But if he is able to put it all together, he could be like a real force.
Yeah, kind of. Again, I agree with you there. I think the ideal with him, and I think that he's not as athletic overall as this player, but I think someone who is a nose tackle but can give you a little bit of pass rush. Jamar Caldwell from Oregon last year kind of fits that bill.
Yeah,
someone I like to like. Like that's what you kind of hope he can be. But again, the injuries and the blood clots and the conditioning, like that's all something that has to be cleaned up if he's going to be that type of player at the next level. Yeah, let's get to, I guess it'll just be your number 9 because again, Jake and I just had The Godfather, of course, at 9.
This is where I think I might get accused of being a hater.
Okay.
I think I'm a little low on this guy.
All right.
I'm curious where you guys have him. Daryl Jackson Jr. from Florida State.
Well, he's number 8 for me.
Okay.
So
he's 7 for me.
Okay,
so
good.
Really.
Good. I'm not far off then. All right.
Yeah.
We're all in the same thought on like every one of these guys.
So far, I mean, again, so many of them are like, I saw you 2 minutes ago, but now you just look different.
Yeah.
And I feel like, but obviously you're going to start with this one, Dalton, but I feel like we're going to feel similarly about this player. Hopefully, it makes sense.
I mean, big and athletic. It's great.
Oh, yeah.
Love the quickness and strength. I mean, he has all the things that you would say is like, this is going to be a really good defensive tackle. And then you watch him play, and it's just okay.
Yeah.
He just doesn't use his hands very well. Pass rush moves are non-existent. Like, there's no plan whatsoever.
Nope. Not a one.
And he also, like, if hands do get on him, he really struggles to disengage. This is a guy that has relied his entire career on being bigger, stronger, and faster than everybody he's played against. And it's slowly starting to work less and less at every level. And that's really going to continue at the next level because now everyone is big, strong, and fast.
Therein lies the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I kind of feel similarly about him. And if I'm not mistaken, and I need to double check this, I think I had him one spot where this is obviously a different class, but he's not the same type of player overall, and I think he's definitely like a bigger player by a little bit at least, but not that dissimilar to Joshua Farmer, who came out of this program last year, where it's like he's big, athletic, just doesn't do a lot of things, frankly. Like he's not that he's bad. It's just like, I don't know. I was kind of hoping that you would do more stuff, frankly. And, maybe that's on us for just assuming someone's going to play a certain way. But yeah, like he's 6'5", probably close to 340 pounds, long arms. Like he's the prototype build for like a true like dominating nose tackle type. And instead of doing that, he's just good at the nose tackle stuff and then does absolutely nothing for you as a pass rusher right now. Like literally nothing. And it almost kind of feels like he doesn't feel like he has to or doesn't care to. And like maybe if an NFL team can get with him and tell him like, hey, like you have the tool set to at least be like a bull rusher type from the nose tackle spot and can use your length to your advantage and do this. So like maybe he'll develop that. But right now he just doesn't show a lot of interest in it, frankly. And that's kind of what bothers me a little bit about him.
Yeah, hopefully Fawn raise a wake-up call.
Yeah, because I think he should go like early on day 3 because of the build and the body type and what he can do as a nose tackle. But that's kind of the ceiling, I think, for where he should go. But
yeah, he's definitely another guy whose motor is kind of hot and cold at times.
Yeah, which when you're that big, it's not that surprising, but still, it's like still though.
Yeah. I think I'm a little bit higher on him just because I think his ceiling can be really nice if he can put it all together.
Yes.
I mean his frame, he just eats space, but he moves pretty quickly for his frame, especially in just like short areas. He's got good power from his size. He's gotten better, I think, at pushing the pocket since he's been in college. And this is one thing that I noted. Not a huge thing, but he could have came out last year, and after FSU was horrible in 2024.
It's true.
But he stayed, and
Oh, I might have lost you for a second, Jake.
there is some leadership there, which I liked. And
oh, now you're back. I think we're good. Right.
Okay.
Just wanted to make sure that yeah, you should be good though.
Yeah, I don't know. No, all good. I think I froze up. So yeah, there is some leadership there, which was something that I like. But
Sure.
Yeah, he's just another guy who's just too inconsistent at times in a lot of things. Whether it's like playing too high, his tackling technique, having a solid like pass rush plan. I just think the flashes are there, and if he can be more consistent with all that and starts to put it all together, I think his ceiling is a bit higher than some of the guys in the back half of my top 10, which is why I had him at 7. But yeah, I definitely understand the concerns too.
Yeah, like he does have the size and the profile that like he should be honestly better than even some of the guys that are probably about to come up. It's just the fact that he isn't right now, and I just don't know if he's going to be. Kind of makes it hard, right? Like it's hard to project much more of him as a pass rusher when it just doesn't look great a lot of the time, and like you want it to look good because, I mean, if I was drafting somebody and I was just like looking for a prototype, I'd be like, yeah, that guy looks like who I'd want to draft. Just doesn't always play like it, and that's the kind of what it is with the sport sometimes. Like that sometimes, but still a good player overall, I think. And then I think we're all the way up to 7 now for me. I think both of you had Zane Durant, Dalton at 7, if not mistaken, and then obviously you just had Gerald Jackson Jr. at 7. Jake.
Yeah.
So my number 7 is a name that we brought up earlier in our McClellan out of Missouri is my number 7 player. Dalton, I think you didn't get.
I did not. As we mentioned in the pre-show, I did not quite get to finish watching him yet.
Okay.
From what I have seen so far, I like a lot. How about you, Jake?
Yeah, he was an honorable mention for me.
Okay.
But I just wanted to wait since I know Shane had him.
Yes, so I have him at 7, and it's pretty simple for me. I think he has, amongst this group so far, the best combination of good size and ability to play the run with some legitimate pass rushing ability, especially from a power perspective. And he definitely showed that a lot at the Senior Bowl. In the games that I watched, I think he flashed it as well. He did have, I believe it was 4 or 5 sacks this year. I forget the official count on him, but he did have some plays in the backfield. Just not much of that to speak of this group so far that we've talked about, frankly, especially this past year. I think he flashed in that way. I think he's a good athlete. He's kind of very stereotypical. Like if you need a second or third defensive tackle on your team and you don't want to have to spend a premium pick on it, you want to look at somebody like late on day 2. I think he fits that profile. Someone that I think can come in and just contribute immediately, maybe never be more than, again, your second, probably third interior player for you, but should be able to kind of give you a little bit of everything right away. So.
Yeah, I'm with you. From what I've been watching clips here, Jake, you can go.
Okay. Yeah, there was a lot that I did like. Super quick off the ball.
Mm-hmm.
He really produced a lot in terms of rushing the passer. In run defense, he was solid, especially in one-on-one situations. He's very good with his hands. And he has a pretty high motor for his size, which encouraged me. I part of the reason I didn't have my top 10, I worried about his pad level a lot.
Yeah, he's not the only one in this class that has that problem too. It's kind of a thing with a lot of guys.
Yeah. He gets off the ball really quick, and even when he has a high pad level, he gets off the ball quick. But it's like he just stands straight up.
Yeah.
And it happens a lot. I noticed against the run more than the pass. Maybe that was just the games that I watched, but
I noticed that too, actually. So I think I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, so that was a problem for me. And then he isn't that great against double teams either, which isn't a huge concern. But I would like to see him improve a little bit there for size. But yeah, those I do like a lot of things about him. I thought those might be big enough concerns for me to leave him out.
That's fair. I do think he's probably, even though he can play a little bit nose, I think he should be a 3-tech primarily at the next level. Maybe even a 5. But even then, it's like, I don't know if he quite has the overall athleticism and bend to kind of stick that far outside and really rush the passer. But as an interior guy in the more of that 3-tech role, I think he'd be pretty effective right off the bat. So we'll see with him. I'm curious what he's one of the guys that I'm really interested to see test, because I do wonder if the burst is going to come through in the testing or not, especially I think he's listed about 315 at the Senior Bowl, so a little bit lighter than his weight that was at least given out by Missouri, which we know that doesn't mean anything in college half the times. These guys are half the time not even close to the size that they listed at. But
wait, are you saying that Diego Pavia is not 6 feet tall?
Oh no,
Dalton, I would even be willing to tell you that he's not even 5'10", which is incredible. So, and not 200 pounds either, which, that's anyway, Diego Pavia mention had to happen at some point. Now we're all on to number 6, which means that it's this at this point, either we're going to have the same group of names in just different orders, or someone's going to have somebody way higher that either one of us didn't watch or we think sucks. So hopefully that's not the case, but it'd be funny if it is. I'm going to go to you, Dalton, here. Who do you have at 6?
All right. Big Citrus.
Big Citrus is at 6 for me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dominique Orange from Iowa State.
Jake, real quick, Jake, where do you have him at?
I have him at 6 also.
Number 6. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Big
Which
Citrus,
means I think our 6 and 5 might be the same.
Might be.
Maybe.
We'll get there.
We'll see. But, 6, yeah.
Big Citrus.
Dominique Orange. What's that?
Big Citrus. Let's go.
Yeah. He is fun.
He's fun.
Yeah.
Ideal size 6'4", 325.
Mm-hmm.
Maintains the point of attack super well against the run. I mean, has all the physical tools where he should be solid against the run. But the pass rushing is where he has a lot to get excited about. Actually does have a good bag of moves. And the way he shoots through gaps and splits doubles sometimes is really impressive. The way he moves for his size, like not necessarily like the speed at which he moves, but the body control and flexibility.
Yeah.
Like he's almost got like some edge bend, which is kind of weird. Like in a way, it's just he just uses it differently.
Mm-hmm.
But for someone as big as he is, like the flexibility is really impressive. The issue is when he's engaged, he's kind of stuck, and he really struggles to find the ball at times, which is kind of an issue. And the gap control is not great for those reasons. Also, pad level, which at 6'4" shouldn't be as big of an issue for him.
No, but it is sometimes.
It just is. So that's something that's going to just need to be corrected, but I think he can. But yeah, just generally, like the production was not really as impressive as you'd expect somebody with like a late day 2 grade. I think you just kind of wonder like why, because the tape is like, oh, that guy should have a lot of production, and he really isn't actually getting home that often.
No, and I think for me, because again, we all have him at 6, so we are going to have similar, thoughts on him. I think one of the biggest problems is I don't think he's as long as his frame would suggest, and I think that does prevent him sometimes from being able to shed blocks and to get in the backfield and make plays at the rate that someone with his size, build, and honestly athleticism overall should be able to do. And I do wonder if that's just kind of a limiting factor with him at the end of the day, not so much that it's going to prevent him from being a really good player. I still have him again at 6 like the rest of us do. I have a late day 2 grade on him. I think if you take him anywhere from you start getting the compensatories on, no problem with it at all. In the right scheme, I'd be even willing to take him a little bit higher, but that's kind of besides the point. he is a really good player now. If he can unlock a little bit more of the pass rushing that he clearly has the athleticism to do, and that's the key thing with him. And one of the reasons he's higher for me than some of the other guys is I see the flashes of it, and I think the build and the athleticism is enough to actually get there. Just again, hasn't finished enough plays in the backfield and had enough production for me to have him higher than I already do. So.
Yeah, it is confusing because when you watch his tape, like the things I noticed immediately were quick off the ball,
yep,
strong hands, and very active hands, and
mm-hmm.
like he makes reps look good, but the pass rush production just like isn't there. Like I think he had 1 sack in college.
I think so. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and I think the shorter arms definitely hurt him, and it's just kind of hard for him to sometimes disengage. Like he's good with his hands and they're strong, so he can get off blocks somewhat, but I think it's just hard for him to like completely get off of them.
Yeah,
and get back there. Another thing I noticed was he struggles. Like he's good against the run, but he struggles sometimes once he gets in the backfield and he has a chance at the back. And I haven't seen like all of his pass rushing reps. Maybe it's just breaking down back there is part of the reason the pass rush production isn't there, even though it's obviously quarterbacks are less agile than a running back coming at you. But I don't know. It's just there's another struggle there. I just worry about him being able to lapse the pocket like consistently to where he could be an every down player. But with that said, I am still very excited about him. I mean, he's just a dense guy, and with his strength and a combination of quickness, his feet never stop moving. His hands are good. I don't have to worry about his pad level at all. Those are all things in a class like this that get me excited enough to have him up at 6. But I do worry a little bit about him just not being able to be like a 3-down defender in the NFL.
It's possible. And again, he's still in that nose tackle category for sure, where it's like he's going to be that type of player most likely. Can he be more than that? It's kind of undetermined at this point just based on the production profile. But again, you mentioned the finishing. The amount of times, and we're going to talk about it with the guys above him too, the amount of times that some of the guys in his class will get in the backfield and just do fucking nothing. Like, accomplish nothing. I'm like, dude, you were there. You did the hard part. Tackle the guy. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to bring it up with the guy that's up next for me, and we'll get there in a minute. But, like, sometimes I'm just like, man, like I know it's like you're big and these guys are small, kind of hard to grab a hold of them. You got to be able to grab a hold of them sometimes. Like, this is ridiculous in some of the cases, these guys. But no, like that's not as bad with him overall. But I get where you're coming from there. But Jake, let's go to you for number 5. Who do you have at 5? And see if can we all link up again? Are we all going to be in the same place? We'll see.
I have Lee Hunter.
Okay.
He is 4 for me.
Okay, he is, and I want to double check because I was deciding if he is 2 for me. So
okay,
5, 4, and 2. So let me just make sure I make a note of that. But you go ahead and start with that one, Jake.
Yeah, well, if there's one thing that I know that he will do well, it's to stop the run. He's just a ferocious run defender. He has a great anchor. He just absorbs blocks, and he's another tree stump kind of guy. He's very powerful in the middle of the line. He gets off the ball pretty quickly for his size, and he doesn't have an issue with pad level for his size either, which both things that I like. His run defense is it is so impressive to me. For me, I think the reason I'm a little bit lower than you guys kind of are is I just worry about him rushing the passer at the next level. It's like his bull rush is good, and his strength and size make it good, but I don't see a lot of counter moves. He's quick in short areas, but doesn't have a ton of speed in general, which isn't that important for his position, but I think it does hurt him when he rushes a passer sometimes. Another thing that I worried about was I think watching him on film, there were some times where I saw maybe it could just be conditioning for a guy like him, but it kind of looked like his effort wasn't there at times. So that is a little bit of a red flag for me. But again, with with his weight, that could just be like him being tired, which still is an issue, but at least it's not just not caring enough to give effort. But there's a lot of things that he does really well, and like I know that he'll be a good run defender in the NFL, so he's up at 5 for me. But I think I'm just a little bit worried about him being able to rush the passer consistently in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm with you on a lot of that. Like consistency is kind of the big thing for me, and that is kind of the main reason why he is not 4. Because my 5 and 4 have the same, have very similar, or that's why he's 4 and not 3. My 4 and 3 both have early second round grades, but the consistency is just hard to get around. But I mean, I'll tell you what, when you have an 80-inch wingspan, it makes me overlook a lot of things. I mean, yeah, like, and he's so powerful with it too.
Yes.
With how long he is and powerful, like. I mean, you said like against the run, it's just all right. I'm gonna starch this guy and find the ball. Like it's really impressive, like the way he can just fully just lock out and extend 300-pound offensive linemen on a regular basis. I think my other concern, see the pass rush production, I felt like was there when he was actually like playing hard. It's just the conditioning and like the ability to stay out on the field, and also like I don't know, this is a weird one. Well, the lateral quickness is also like a little bit of a concern for me. I mean, the quickness off the snap's good. I do worry about how much he can move side to side, just because his body is weird. He's one of those guys. We see guys with this, like, they just have these, like, weird, like, rectangle bodies.
Barrel-chested.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about it, and sometimes it's hard for me to, like, get excited about those guys. I don't know. You can, maybe I'm just a sizist.
Shapist.
I don't know. Shapist, yeah. That just sounds bad. I don't want to.
It doesn't sound great, but like I know what you're trying to say. I get it.
Yeah. Also, he's an older D lineman. I wonder how much of like is this just a grown man playing in the Big 12?
Yeah.
How much of that's why his production is what it is. But again, the physical tools are so great that like early second round. Like if he's there in the second round, you just take him and call it a day.
Yeah. So for me, again, so he's number 2 for me. Now I have a late first, early second, so it's not really that big of a difference from a grade perspective. I'm guessing either of you. The reason he's 2 ahead of some other guys we'll talk about in a minute is frankly because he is a true legit nose tackle, like through and through, who I do believe already has the pass rush arsenal to at least be a true like not just pocket pusher but like pocket disruptor from the middle of the defense, and those guys just don't really exist often. Right. Fair. Like there's an element of that that's like, do I necessarily want to push someone up a little bit because they are just a rare type of player? Not all the time, but I think when it's the interior of the defensive line and a guy who can legitimately line up over the head of the center in the A and B gaps and not just do it because you need someone to do it, like my Steelers, by the way. Stop putting Keanu Benton in the middle of the damn defense, please. Thank you. It's just hard to find that guy, right? Like, I know it was a rough year last year for him, and I'm not comparing him to this player because I think it'd be unfair for anyone to be compared to this player as a nose tackle. But there's a reason why Dexter Lawrence is as good as he is at times, because he is an actual nose tackle who, oh, by the way, could at any moment get you 50, 60 pressures in a season. That's just not normal. Now, I don't think Hunter's that type of player, but he is a guy that has had 20-plus pressures the last 3 seasons in a row, according to PFF. He has a legit bull rush. I think that the lateral quickness isn't good enough to really add a ton to his pass rush arsenal, but he already has something that is working for him and is a go-to for him. I think if you draft this guy late on day one and stick him in the middle of your defense, you immediately improve the run defense by a bunch. And at least if he does have to play third down sometimes, which I think he can, and you can limit his snaps a little bit by not needing him to play a ton on third downs. But when he is out there on maybe obvious rush downs, if they do get a pass on that, he at least should be able to affect the quarterback a little bit. And that's something that not really any of these other nose tackles that are true nose tackles, at least, can really say about their games. So that's ultimately why he lands at 2 for me.
Fair.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
So 5 for you, Jake, was the Hunter. Dalton, who do you have at 5?
So at 5, I had Christian Miller.
I have him at 5 as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's 4 for me.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. So my first note watching him was this is just a 300-pound linebacker. It's really weird.
Georgia D linemen are weird, bro.
Yeah.
That's really that's kind of what it is a little bit. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, like the quickness is really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And he uses it to be a problem as a pass rusher. He doesn't actually like turn it into production. It's really weird. It doesn't really lead to sacks.
It's Georgia, though. I don't even know if I can blame him much for it.
But he creates pressure, and he creates, he creates issues as a pass rusher. And then also, like, part of it is he just does not let people get their hands on him. And yeah, there's just a lot of nice things to like. And then also, he is really stout in the run game in that like he can anchor really well with his frame. He's got a really good frame for lining up kind of more in the A gap, but he also has the athleticism to play out in the B gap, which is kind of nice. There's a lot to like there. The issue is the whole linebacker mentality. You don't want that in a guy that you need to stay in the A gap because he's just going to go freelance at times.
He gets tunnel vision.
Yeah, Georgia, the way they coach their D line, like I'm not going to sit here and say that it's not good because it works for them, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes they have dudes just doing shit where I'm like, that's not how you play defensive line in the NFL. Yeah. I don't know what to do with that. I'm not 100% sure that, like, is that a you problem or a them problem? It's hard. It depends, honestly.
I think Kirby's mentality is we're just going to get a bunch of NFL caliber defensive linemen and just send them out there and just tell them, you go make shit happen. And
they do, to be fair.
It works because it's a bunch of NFL caliber defensive linemen playing against, 90% guys that are going to be selling insurance.
The insurance community is going to they're going to legitimately ban this podcast. Because every time Dalton's like, these damn insurance salesmen out here playing against my NFL caliber players. I don't know what to do with it. And they're all just like, dude, I make good money selling insurance. Leave me alone.
It's not a bad job.
It's not a bad job. That's right. Okay.
Yeah, it's just weird. Also, he's still not playing a ton of snaps.
I mean, does anyone on Georgia play a lot of snaps?
No. And I don't know. There's just a lot of question marks. It's why he's a late second round grade. It's weird. The way my day 2 guys go is there's Orange, there's Gap and Miller, and there's a Gap, and then there's the next 3 guys.
Okay.
And that's kind of where why there's a gap is I just have so many questions about what it's going to look like at the next level.
Yeah, that's part of the problem with him. And I'm curious, Jake, if you are a little bit higher on him than us. I'm curious, in what ways or if there is a huge difference. But he's just, for me, he's my second. If I was going to rank true 3 techs, which is what I think he should be, I think he can play as a nose tackle sometimes, but I think he's going to be best with his skill set as a 3.
He knows on third downs.
Yeah, you can stick him out there and close to the middle of the defense on those situations. But ideally, he's playing a lot of his snaps as a 3 tech. He's my second ranked true 3 tech, and then there's a guy that's he probably should be a 3 tech, but he doesn't look like one. I'm like, what the fuck do I do? We'll get to him in a little bit, but he just is a well-rounded athlete, someone who I think is going to be able to play right away in some capacity. But it is just weird because it's a Georgia player, and Georgia players are weird, frankly. They're either really fucking good and it doesn't matter, or they're I don't know. I'm not sure what this guy's going to do, but he was good, so we got to play him somewhere. And where he lands on that spectrum is kind of the problem with it, and that's why I get why you have the kind of late day 2 grade. He's probably, and again, I say probably because we're only one position into the defense at this point, but probably going to be closer to my top 50 than my top 100. So probably,
yeah, late second. Not late day 2.
Gotcha. Okay, I thought you said late day too. That makes more sense. Okay, so yeah, he's probably the same range then for you. But you're right. Like I don't know for sure that it's going to translate because do you ever really know with a front seven player from Georgia if it's going to translate unless they're just like so good that it's insane and it's just it has no choice but to work. Which I don't think he's in that category. So it's just it's tough.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of questions to, whether stuff will translate. I think enough will that he'll have a high enough floor, which is kind of why I had him a little higher. He's another guy that I know will defend the run well, and that alone will help him get snaps. Yeah,
they really do.
But he was one of the better run stoppers in the nation last year. He gets off the ball very quickly. He has versatility in terms of where he's lining up. I was really impressed with his body control. He's very strong. I think a lot of his ceiling depends on how much he develops as a pass rusher, and the production in college wasn't really there. I think I'm a little bit more optimistic about that because I think he has a lot of tools that just need to be refined a little bit. Like his hands are very strong. There was a lot of reps where he would just punch a lineman in the chest and you would just see them jolt back. He's good with his hands. He's pretty athletic for the position. So I think more of his issues are being able to finish it once he gets into the backfield a little more than not being able to get back there in general. So I'm a little more optimistic on his pass rush arsenal developing a little more. It kind of has to for him to have a high ceiling, but I think it I can see a path toward that happening, and I think he's going to be so good against the run and his positional versatility and just he has a good enough combination of things that he does well that will at least get him on the field. And then I think if he can develop more as a pass rusher, his ceiling could be pretty high.
Yeah, again, I think that's the question, right? It's just because he's from Georgia, we know he can defend the run, and the rest of it is kind of up in the air. It's kind of in a very different way. It's the Michael Williams conversation, right? It's like I know that dude can play the run. Didn't see it as a pass rusher. Couldn't decide. I'm like, is it for sure that he just can't do it, or is it because he was Georgia? I guess the jury's still out on him, but so far it's kind of more that maybe he just can't do it. But then again, who could do anything on the defense last year? So maybe that's not fair to him. But again, similar conversation, I think there. And then, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's just me that has to say there are 4, unless I missed somebody's 4, or unless I thought someone had been 4 mentioned. Yeah, and then Jake, you had Miller. So, yeah. So for me, I'm hoping this would be really funny. I don't know why he wouldn't be. Caden McDonald is my number 4.
Okay, he's 2 for me.
Okay. He's 2 for me also.
So I do kind of get that. I think the reason why there's a discrepancy here is going to be pretty simple. I think he is about as good as it gets as a true 2-down nose tackle player. I just don't think he has pass rush utility that much. And as great as he is as a run stopper, as great as he is as a true nose tackle, I didn't see enough from him to consider him really someone who I want to see on the field a lot on third downs. Obviously, other than I should say passing situations more so. But the point being, he's really, really phenomenal as a run defender. It's just if he isn't going to give me much of anything as a pass rusher, I kind of felt like this was the ceiling I could give him in this ranking. So,
sure, you can go, Jake.
Yeah, I definitely get that. For me, I think he definitely has to develop a lot more of a pass rush arsenal because right now it's pretty much like he's going to bull rush and it's going to work or it's just not going to work. And I just think that the path is there. Kind of like I said for Miller. His hands are good. Like he knows how to use his hands well and they're very strong. I think he's athletic for his size. He does well when he gets caught in out of position. I think he's strong enough and his feet are quick enough that he can recover. So he doesn't really get taken out of plays too often.
Yeah.
And then his anchor is really strong as well. So he's not going to get taken out of plays. And he's so good against the run. Like he just plugs everything up. He can throw around guards. I see him being a player who, like, when he gets drafted, he's immediately going to make your run defense better, and I think he's going to develop the pass rushing bag over time. So I think the floor is very high just off of his run defense, and I think the ceiling could also be very high just because if he can put the pass rushing stuff together, which I think he can, because I like how he uses his hands. I like his athleticism for the position. I don't think he has any big issues with footwork. So again, you need to see it get put together, or else the ceiling won't be too high. And there are some bad habits that he has, but I just see his ceiling being really, really high with what he can already do against the run, and then if he's just able to develop more of a pass rushing arsenal.
Right.
Yeah, I think for me, the big thing with the pass rush is, compared to the other couple guys in the same range for me, is he's only 21, or he'll be 21 as a rookie.
Right.
And I think he is young enough where I think you kind of hope that you can just coach up some of the pass rush moves a little bit. Because, like, at the end of the day, the thing that he has that you can't coach is the strength. The strength is just unfair. Like, he is just so ridiculously strong. You can double team him with 2 Big Ten offensive linemen, and it doesn't matter. He can
still staying there
and just be like, no, I'm gonna bench press both you guys, because I can. And that's kind of the thing. Now, the problem is eventually that's not going to work all the time, and he does need to learn how to actually disengage and swat hands away a little bit better and time that stuff. And he does have to figure out the pass rush moves. I do worry about arm length a little bit. But I think, the way he, against the run, he is going to be a force. And I think you kind of hope that he can figure out. And the pass, I think at the very worst, he's someone that's going to at least push the pocket, because just with his strength, he's just going to walk opposed back. So I think if you have guys off the edge that can get pressure and make guys step up, make the quarterback step up, he's a perfect fit, because he is going to. So I think, probably maybe more of a nose tackle, but I could see maybe more of a technique than a true, like them playing 3 or 2 eye a little bit. That might be kind of what he needs to do right away. Depending on what kind of fronts teams run, I think he's someone that you'd probably want maybe more head up on the guard or inside shoulder of the guard, rather than playing out wide yet, just because any further out wide than that. But he's my I have a late first round grade on him. He's one of 2 guys that I think should go in the first round, and it's just because of the strength and the ceiling.
I get that. I think part of the problem for me with him, and I think the same could be said to some degree as his teammate last year, Tyleik Williams, who he replaced and did a really great job of replacing. I think he's a very similar caliber player. I think the mentality is maybe part of the problem, where they are true, like, they were nose tackles. They showed up, they 2-gapped, they stood there and made sure no one was moving them out of their spot. And that's kind of just how they played all the time. They didn't really have a pass rusher's mentality. And that's where I do think, if that can change, if an NFL team is going to go to him and say, like, hey, we think you have the ability to do more than just that, let's work on that element of your game a little bit, that could quickly change about him, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what you hope for if you want him to be a first-round pick, because for me, like, he's almost assuredly going to be a top 50 player for me. I think that there are teams that could take him in the first round, and I could say, okay, like he is so good at what he does that I can understand that for you if you really need to shore that up, even if he doesn't give you the pass rush at some point. But again, he does have the physical tools where he should be able to at least be a pocket pusher. He just hasn't really shown it at all yet. But again, that doesn't mean he's not going to, because guess what? The guys ahead of him also haven't shown a lot of that stuff yet either. I just think that they have even more athletic potential. That's why they're going to be higher. But yeah, it's the same idea of like the potential could be there, but even if it isn't, like this is a player that you want on your defense no matter what.
Yeah.
So let's get into our number 3s then.
I think we all have the same 3.
It's got to be, right? Caleb Banks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So we're not crazy, at least a little bit. What to do with good old Caleb Banks? Well,
I just want to say,
yeah,
off the bat, the top 15 hype he is getting, or top 20 hype.
too much.
Don't get it. Don't get it at all.
It's just, okay, I get it because if you just look at him, it's like, oh, yeah. That's get off the bus, dude, right there. I want that guy playing for me. And that's not even like, and that's, I'm talking about someone who's my 3rd ranked defensive guy. I'm not even saying he isn't good. It's the fact that, like, if you just looked at him, like, oh my God, yeah, well, get me that guy. Like it's almost like the recruiting element. I was like, oh yeah, I want that dude on my college team, and they did put him on the college team. But it's like there's just some stuff, and we're gonna get into it that like it's just too probably early for that. I think it's too early for maybe anyone in this class. We'll talk about it. But yeah, I think that's certainly a little too much. So
yeah.
Who wants to kick us off?
I can go quick with him just because I think it's pretty straightforward. Like, at 6'6", 330, and being able to get off the ball the way he does, I mean,
it's that's the other reason why too. By the way.
Yeah, like that's kind of it. I mean, this is why like I was really high on Deion Walker last year. It's like that to an even like more ridiculous extent.
Yes, yeah. And you were right about that, by the way. So good for you. But like, yeah, you're right. It's the same type of thing, kind of. Yeah.
Like you can't don't overthink it. Like when you're that big and you get that much of a jump on the snap, you know, good things are going to happen. Plus, like very powerful, violent hands, and also has the athleticism to like move around a little bit. Like I think you can definitely like be kind of creative with where you put him on the line of scrimmage, from down to down. He's got the ability to scrape across really well, splits doubles well, but you know, he's old, at 24, like for a prospect, he's a little older, and the injury concerns, this weird foot thing that he had going on this year that caused him to miss time.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, there's weird vibes with him. And you know, of course, pad level, but you know, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The bottom line for me is like he is somebody who at his size can win as a pass rusher, has the athleticism, has the size you want. He is a prototype build of a player. Like if I was building, like when I play freaking whatever football game I'm playing and I'm making a dude in the game, he looks like this guy. Like if you're making an interior player, this is what he looks like. And like there's an element of that like is obvious to really anyone. And I do think the flashes are certainly there. But again, he's an older player, which again, at this point, how much do we factor that in? I really don't know the answer to that at this point. It's kind of hard to determine, really, but it is true. He has some injury stuff, and again, it's 6'6". The pad level sometimes gets him in trouble. He doesn't anchor as well as someone his size should in general. I think it's one of the things I noted with him too.
Yeah.
And it's pad level, right? Like you have to be. Like you have to be a little bit more flexible than I think he maybe is to be able to play at that pad level consistently, or to be able to play at that size consistently and have good pad level. So maybe that's just kind of what it is. But the athletic gifts are very clear. And in a class like this that lacks dudes who look and play like this, he's probably going to go earlier than even we have him ranked, right? Like especially the grade that we have on him, because I also have an early day 2 grade on him. So
yeah. You're talking about the pass rushing. in the last 3 years, he's played 27 games, 6 sacks.
Yeah, he hasn't really like had much production like in general, like just across the board. It's like I was excited to watch him because like like I know he's good, but I have to say like even though he's number 3 for me, I was just kind of disappointed a little bit in.
It's hard not to
in
when
watching
a guy looks
him
like
just
that, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like that's part of the problem.
There's so many things to like his size, his quickness. We've kind of talked about that already. There's obvious reasons that he's going to be drafted early, but he has just some really frustrating like concerns for me. Like with his size, I get the pad level thing, but I feel like just when he gets tired, you can just kind of tell.
Yeah.
And like you can see from his pad level, and it's not. I don't think it's like a lack of effort. It's just you can tell when he's not in the right shape. His like as a pass rusher, obviously the potential is there, but I would like to see him develop more of like a plan B once. And then I was really frustrated just watching him have so many arm tackles on film. Like it just kind of drove me a little bit crazy because he loves to just like stick an arm out there. It's just for when you look at him and you watch him play, like you would just think that he had so much more like statistical production than he did. And so that just worries me a little bit. Just because it's just not there. And this isn't meant to, I don't want to sound super negative about him because obviously there's a ton to like and the ceiling is super high and like there is reason that he'll be drafted as early as he will. But it's just hard for me to ignore some of those things. It's just a little bit like I don't want to say disappointing, but just kind of frustrating watching it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. The tackling is an issue because you know how I said in the last 3 years, in 27 games, he had 6 sacks. Guess how many hurries he had?
It's bad.
43.
That's the point.
Yeah.
He can win. We know he can win and rush the passer. He can't, and that's the problem with a lot of these guys is they can't fucking finish plays in the backfield. And I'm like, am I just gonna have to assume you're gonna figure that out at some point because I kind of need to because otherwise no one's. And I need some of you to be good. Fucking Caden McDonald's the only dude who tackles people in the backfield. Another reason why I'm like, if you have him higher, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe just the fact that he actually tackles people when he gets close to them in the backfield. Maybe that's enough to make him where he should be.
It is an important part of defense.
It kind of is.
43 hurries and 6 sacks.
It's not great. It's a little disconcerting, but it's also like
that means every time that means for every 6 or 7 times he gets.
Damn it!
He wins. Sorry. Every 7 times he wins, he gets he actually sacks the quarterback 1 time.
I think if it's 43 versus 6, it's actually like every 8 times, which is horrendous.
Yeah.
Like that. Or close.
Yeah, it's bad.
42.
So yeah, well yeah, it's closer to it's closer to 7, you're right. But like it's just he needs to finish plays. He needs to be out on the field, obviously, with the foot stuff. And yeah, he looks like a freak, moves like a freak, doesn't always play like a freak. And that's kind of the issue with guys like this. It's like in a class that's not particularly talented, he's at 3 for all of us. But you see, we're really talking a lot about the stuff that we're not sure about with him at this point, which is, at least for me, and that's why I think I'll kind of let you guys go first on this guy here. I think about number 1 for me too, Peter Woods for all of us out of Clemson.
Yeah.
Again, like I want to hear what you guys have to say. What's up, dog? Who are you gonna put out there? I didn't know Peter Woods was in this class. No, he just has fucking. I don't even know who. It would be funny. You got
what do you guys have in
Cole Brevard. Sorry, go ahead.
Cole Brevard.
Yeah.
Where do you guys have Woods graded? I'm curious.
He's a first round grade, but like
just pure first round, like mid
first. Yeah, like I
had mid first.
Yeah, it'd be mid. Like I don't specify past like late first and then in the first. I will specify like top 5, especially in even top 10.
I have a top
like,
10 grade on him.
Okay, listen, the athleticism alone, I can get with it.
That's it.
I can get with it because he's a freak.
Yeah,
like he's legit a freak. But man, some of the stuff, I'm like, man, come on. You're too good for some of the shit that I saw on his tape this past year. Now again, the Clemson team, let's be honest, shit their pants a little bit as a collective, right? And sometimes it kind of reverberates across the team. Maybe something he was better in 2024 for sure, but like the tape doesn't match what I think he's going to be. But he's so athletically gifted and such a freak that I couldn't bring myself to put anyone above him. Basically, is kind of the story with him.
Yeah. I felt pretty similar.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Dalton.
I was gonna say that whole Clemson defense just looked like they were there to collect a bag.
And guess what? They did.
Yeah. Like, so, was gonna pay us now. Great. We'll come hang out here and get paid, but we don't really care about actually playing for this man.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't either, frankly, but that's beside the point. I don't even get the chance to do that, so whatever. But go ahead, Dalton.
No, Jake, I cut you off. I'll let you go.
Yeah, go ahead, Jake.
Okay. Yeah, honestly, like, I had a little more concerns for him than I expected to.
Yeah.
Before I was watching him. Gap discipline, I was worried about. Like, I think he's very aggressive, which I like, but I think he gambles a little bit. Mm-hmm. And he can kind of catch himself out of position sometimes. His production, he's another guy where the production just isn't kind of as much as you would expect when you watch on film. And then another thing with him being aggressive, his I just like to see him refine his tackling technique a little bit more. Like with his traits, I just think he should be a bit more consistent when it comes to tackling. I think he gets, like, especially when taking angles, I think he gets very aggressive. But with that said, it's hard to complain about a guy who ran a 4.8 40 and can bench 490 pounds. Like, it's like, he just does so many things well. Like, he's explosive off the ball, very flexible for his size, very good hands. He has a really good swipe move that you notice on tape a lot. Pretty versatile in terms of where you can line him up. I mean, just his size, strength, and athleticism. Like, I couldn't, kind of like you said, Shane, I couldn't bring myself to put anybody else on here. Yeah. But I was a little bit like, I don't have any like huge concerns with him, but I did find a little more things to dislike than I expected to before I watched him.
Yeah.
Good dog.
I think what it comes down to is, do we think it really comes down to whether or not you think like his lack of growth and production over the last 3 years is him, or if it's just poor coaching at Clemson.
Yeah, that could be it.
I kind of lean that way.
We need to, though. The thing, right? We kind of have to, because you were talking about 6 sacks, 43 hurries. He has 6 sacks, 40 hurries.
Yeah,
like nothing happens so often when he so often is just like so clearly more talented than everyone, and then nothing kind of happens.
Yeah,
and it's like it's got to be you think it's got to be the Clemson defense the way he's being coached, because you could see the way he plays and the way he wins. And he doesn't. It's not even that he never wins. It's just nothing ever fucking happens from it. And it's like, am I just supposed to assume that someone this talented doesn't have it? I just don't. I'm not willing to do that. But it's also why I'm not willing to probably take him any earlier than the middle of the first round, because he could easily wash out of the league if he keeps not being able to produce, even if he wins.
Yeah, I think the big thing for me that I kind of like the floor a little bit more.
He's a good run defender.
Yeah, run defender, really good run defender.
Yeah.
And also, like, just at the end of the day, like, you're going to have to double team this guy because there's not really anybody that physically is going to be capable of blocking him one-on-one at the next level, because he's so quick and he's just so much stronger than most most NFL linemen. Like that's kind of why I have McDonald at 2.
I get that, yeah.
Because when a guy is that strong and it just kind of forces you to double, it really limits what you're going to do as an offense, especially like if you have to have if you have to have your center come over and help. Well, if he lines up on the outside shoulder of the guard, where's the help coming from? Is the tackle going to have to stab? And then if you put him next to a really good edge rusher, that's going to create a lot of problems. Depending on what you're running, like I think there's a lot of things that you can do that are going to give people problems. And I think that's kind of where I'm at. I just think like it's a guy where it might take a little bit for him to like figure out the production. But I think like at worst, what if he's like, he might just end up being like a Leonard Williams guy that's like not super productive, like that, not
especially like early career Leonard Williams.
Yeah,
like he's been more productive since he got to Seattle, but not
especially like when he gets to the right system.
Yeah,
eventually the physical tools are just in the right system. The physical tools are going to be a real problem for teams, and it's as long as he gets in the right spot, I think it could be impressive.
Now, I do have a question before we kind of wrap up with this episode about him. Do you guys think, like ideally, right? Would you rather him play more of his snaps as a true 3 tech or a 5 tech?
Oh, I think probably first and second down 3 tech.
Yeah.
And then may move him over to 5 tech on third down, or
I'd probably go
or maybe vice versa.
Yeah, because here's my thing. I think his strength profile for his size as a 5, there's a lot of tackles that I feel like if you can get him kind of like an over tackle alignment or even a 4-eye alignment at times, like he might just be able to just knock those dudes back into the backfield sometimes. And like I that's why I think where he lands is important, because someone who's willing to kind of just move him up and down the line of scrimmage and weaponize him as an athlete could get more results out of him immediately. Because I do think it's going to take him, especially if he goes somewhere that isn't super ideal, it's probably going to take him some time once he gets to the NFL to produce much. I just do. I do think there's an element of that that's missing with him. But if you get him in a creative scheme, just honestly, like, I don't want to bring this upon myself, by the way, but I'm saying it because I think it's just like the truth with who is now the coach there. He's going to end up a fucking Raven and kill me for 10 years. That's what's going to happen. Like, Jesse Miller's going to get his hands on him,
man, and
he's going to just fucking be like, yeah, have fun with this one, guys. Good luck. And I'm like, well, fuck me, I guess. Like that's what's probably going to happen, right?
I mean, the way you can be creative with him is really interesting. Like the thing we didn't even talk about is how much, especially like freshman and sophomore year, they lined him up on the edge, like not even 5 tech. Like he was playing like
actual
wide 9 at times, and like they were dropping him into coverage, and it was working.
They're doing some stupid. Like, sometimes I get mad when teams do that, and then I'm like, no, with him I kind of get it. Like, it's ridiculous, but it's true. Like, I can't even be mad about it. I feel like
he's a guy too. I think we're seeing some of these guys that, like, when they're freshmen, they're kind of like ready to go to the league, and they have to play in college for 2 more years, and they just get bored.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what happened with him, the production.
I hope so. I really do, because he'd be so fun if he. By the way, you're talking about it. He played 122 snaps in 2024 outside the tackle spot. That's you so shouldn't be 300 plus pounds and have nearly that many snaps playing outside the tackle. Like, but he did it, and he was good. Like, this is what we're talking about, though. This is why he's number 1.
He was basically an edge rusher last year.
Yeah, it's like, sure.
Like there was conversation. I mean, you know what he really is? He's essentially it's basically like if you put 20 pounds on Myles Garrett.
Well, Myles is. What do you think he's weighing nowadays? Because if he's still in the 270s or drop about 40 pounds.
No, he's like 295.
But if he's 200, listen, you got on a scale and weigh 295 pounds, I might have to kill him. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, he might not be allowed to live because you can't be allowed to do stuff that he does. That's true. Because no, he's listed at 275. That's probably not true anymore. But really? That's what he's listed. He's listed.
Yeah, he's listed to
272. Yeah,
272. No, I mean, do I believe he's like maybe 280? Sure. But like, yeah, but you know, that was like, wait a second. If you're telling me if he's actually 295, he shouldn't be allowed to live. Lock him up. That's not cool. You can't do shit to people you do at 295. It's at some point we have to have sanctity for life. We can't be doing this. Like
that's like this that's at that point you're getting into like the Superman conversation.
Literally, it's like this guy.
This guy do great things for society, but is this allowed to control him?
Like, we can't do anything about it if he decides he doesn't want to follow the rules anymore. I mean, this is someone who did try to kill one of my quarterbacks with his helmet before. Like, sometimes when that
I forgot about that.
Sometimes the rules just don't apply to people like this, unfortunately. And regardless of what Mason Rudolph may or may not, he probably did say it. Whatever he may or may not have said, it's still scary to be thrown to have someone that looks like
they don't say things to Myles Garrett.
Yeah,
that has to be like the moment that he turned around and saw him swinging the helmet. That has to be like the scariest like thought that could go through your head. Like when you just know it's about to happen to you.
Yeah, then the next thought was going to be the helmet through his head is the next thing. But besides the point, Peter Woods is very good. He just needs to hopefully produce more once again. But then again, you can say that about almost everyone that we've talked about today. So take that for what you will.
This is when, I mean, two guys that legitimately should go in the first round in this class, maybe three, depending on how you feel.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we'll probably see four max just because it's not a good class.
Yeah, I think I'd be surprised if there's at least not three of them, if not four of them. It just feels like Banks and Woods are guarantees. I think McDonald probably sneaks in, and then Hunter's from the Senior Bowl. I think might be enough to get him in too. Even if you're like,
where did Tyleik Williams go last year? Did he
29th to the Lions?
Okay, so that is like the comp really for him.
Kind of, yeah. So like it's the same idea of like in this class you can see four. I'm not going to be willing to say that 5 is impossible. Like some team might be like Georgia, Christian Miller, sure, or something like that. You know, like someone in that range.
If a team takes Christian Miller in the first round, that GM needs to be fired.
I mean, I think PFF has him as the 30th player on their board right now. So like,
PFF has a lot of things wrong.
That's not really the case.
I mean, PFF's board is kind of silly. I mean, they still have Jordan Tyson in their top 10.
Trevor's doing his best, you know. He's one-man show, it seems like. That's all I'm going to say. It feels
but they have Jordan Tyson ahead of Carnell Tate and Mekhi Lone.
Yeah, I mean, they're not the only ones still that are doing that at this point, which is interesting to me.
That's absurd.
Even if you're just going off the fact that I don't know if the guy can play 17 games a year ever, that's that's enough alone. But I also just don't think he's the best receiver in the class, even if he was healthy. But that's besides the point. But like, yeah.
And then also, I'm sorry, PFF, but what are we doing putting Caleb Banks at 17?
Oh, well, to be fair to Trevor, that might be a little bit of bias. He is a Florida guy. That might be him hanging on to that a little bit. Like
17
I'll be honest
on that guy, though.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll probably be in the 40s, 50s for me. We'll see. But it's going to be interesting.
You know who I do really wish was not in the, and again, Vince, the theme of
this
was whole
not
year
in this class, or
is the theme of this class, guys that for some reason aren't coming out this year that absolutely should be.
Yeah.
Where is Ahmad Moten?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like he absolutely would probably be 2 on. He'd probably be D tackle 2.
I didn't get to watch him at all because by the time we got here, I knew he wasn't coming out. But like, I've heard a lot of good stuff about him. Mario Washington too. Now he at least has a little bit more of a reason, I think, with Oregon. But
no, Moten, I had a late second round grade like way back when I was first watching him, but that was a while ago. I don't know. I think it's just come down to if you're not going to be a first round pick, if you're a second round caliber player, you're going to make way more money in college than you are in your first 3 years in the NFL.
Especially if you're a premium position, right?
Yeah.
Where like colleges are going to pay you to stay, right? Like that's fair.
But also, I think some of these schools, like Miami, for example, have stupid money right now.
They do. They're just like, you want $7 million to play for me just because? Sure.
You've got a coked up Michael Irvin just burning money on this program.
Incredible stuff. Incredible stuff.
Like barking on the sideline.
He's got to be I imagine as a booster, he's got to be donating. I would bet you a couple million a year.
I mean, now I got to find out what is Michael Irvin's net worth.
Sure, what's left?
Well, that's a different conversation. Michael
when
Irvin's
you
net worth.
Blow it all away.
In the 80s. They say his net worth is an estimated $12 million.
That tracks.
Which that's I mean, because you played at a time where guys were not getting paid quite as much. But I guess about $1 million of that a year is probably going straight to a combination of players and substances.
It's getting it used to be getting stuffed into McDonald's bags. Now they can just actually write that.
Right? Yeah, now it's like, here, you want your double quarter pounder with some extra cheese in here? Not so much anymore. Now they can just do it and it's fine, which, a part of me prefers that, but the other part of me is like, it's kind of funny the type of shit that people used to do to just like pay the players. It's like, man, I don't know.
Or how Nick Saban just used to own a bunch of Alabama car dealerships, and every highly ranked prospect for Alabama as a 19-year-old
driving an insane car. Charger. Yeah, like an insane vehicle that they certainly shouldn't be driving. No, but
it's like, how about that?
It's interesting that they're doing that. But no, this was, again, I think it was a good episode still, despite the fact that we're a little bit less enthused about this group than maybe we were thinking we would be. I do think the edge rush group, at least, let me put it to you this way. I have a feeling, just from kind of a little bit of stuff I've watched, that this could be a very like up and down group, and also more specifically, where our rankings could be very different between us. I think that would be fun to see. We kind of found that out last year. I think that like we kind of view the position a little bit differently sometimes. I already know there's some players just from like, if they are who I'm hearing that they are, will probably be either higher or lower for me than the consensus will be. But we will see how that plays out. So, but we'll see you guys next time. Most likely, by the way, next week. I alluded to this earlier. Probably going to be, maybe even, since it'll be its own standalone episode, a 2-round mock draft potentially.
Oh,
so that could be fun. Because I do want to wait a little longer before we unveil this, but another thing I'm going to spoil a little bit. One of the episodes I plan on doing kind of closer to the end of things, once we have most of, if not all, the position groups taken care of. Because we're actually a little bit ahead of schedule this year compared to last year, so have some more time to do some fun stuff near the end. Compass mock drafts. And when I say compass mock drafts, I mean we're doing mock drafts for the entire North, South, East, West divisions of the NFL. So won't be, one team or 4 teams. It'll be 8 teams in a go. We're just getting them all, and we're just going into mock drafts and doing it. That I think will be very fun to do. Opposed to kind of last year, I liked our divisional mocks, but I think doing that might be even more chaotic and more fun to do. So watch out for those coming soon too. But that'll do it for us this week.